I did mention just now the importance of soy, but I thought it's worth just diving into that a little bit more because of its huge benefits for hormone regulation, because it's also generally feared. A lot of people really fear soy. Um, and I'm wondering whether that's partly because of the use of soy to feed cattle for us to then eat their meat. And those soy that are grown for that purpose may be genetically modified. Or maybe it's because the name phytoestrogens causes fear of excess estrogen exposure, which perhaps would understandably lead people to think that soy products have feminizing effects. But the literature could not be further from that position. In fact, what we know from studying this is that soy is a really misunderstood bean, and it's a fabulous source of protein. It's actually a selective estrogen receptor modulator, a SERM. In other words, it acts like a weak estrogen where it's needed and an estrogen blocker where it's not needed. So, you see estrogen receptors are actually on a lot of tissues, and there are alpha and beta versions of these receptors. And so when soy isoflavones bind to these receptors, they tend to favor the beta receptors. And this does have a protective effect and improving cardiovascular health and bone strength, which is essentially acting like a very weak estrogen, whilst also reducing breast and endometrial cancer risk, which acts like a weak estrogen blocker. So this is why I think there is that confusion. It has beneficial effects on sort of both the blocking of estrogen effects on the one hand and the potentiation of estrogen effects on the other. So there's an interesting study that took 3 cohorts of women who were menopausal and followed them for 2 years. Their bone mineral density was monitored, which helps us to estimate their risk of hip fractures and osteoporosis as they get older. So the control group of the 3 arms basically had a decline in bone mineral density over the time of the study, as you might expect, because, as I mentioned before, bone mineral density can drop quite precipitously at menopause. We lose about 1% of our bone mineral density a year after the age of 40. And then when we go through menopause, it can be up to about 20% of loss of bone mineral density in the 5 to 7 years after menopause. So there really is a significant change there, which is why this conversation is so important. And again, why you might want to consider looking into hormone replacement therapy if you are suitable for it. But what happened with this study? Well, as I mentioned, the control group lost their bone mineral density slightly, as you would expect. The women who were given a progesterone hormone cream to use had less of a reduction in bone mineral density, which is great. But the women who were asked to drink just 2 cups of soy milk a day actually had an increase in their bone mineral density over the 2 years of the study. So this is, again, a living example of how you can utilize the power of a simple bean to actually improve your bone strength going through menopause. I do think, again, that more research is needed, but this does serve as a great example of how misunderstood the soybean has been over the years. And if you've been worried about man boobs, then this is an absolute myth. And in fact, if you were really worried about man boobs, it's probably best to avoid drinking dairy because that has bioequivalent estrogen within it. And the strongest phytoestrogen that you can find is actually in hops, which is why if you drink a lot of beer, you may also be potentially vulnerable to man boobs if you're a man. So so that's hopefully going to be clearing up some issues that you would have over soy products.